Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Velvet Lounge Life, Season 5, Episode 1 of Outlander, 100% spoilers and extras from an insider and beyond. This is completely unedited, and that's what we're famous for. Please subscribe to our channel for a chance to win our entire Outlander series of books, 1 through 8, with a separate drawing for book 9 whenever it's published and after I've read it 2 times. Plus, we have other beautiful things that we're giving away, such as these beautiful handmade goblets. You will receive 2 of those. We have a variety of beautiful crystals that we're giving away, as well as other gorgeous items. We simply need 2,225 subscribers. You just have to be one of them. Leave comments on the videos. Every time you do that, that equals an entry into our drawings. We have other types of videos on our playlist. So look at the playlist if you're interested in some other subject matter. We probably have it. And also remember to give us a thumbs up for our videos and sharing on any Outlander sites, whether it be in Instagram, Facebook, etc., is always appreciated. So I'm going to get into this quickly. This is probably going to be a part 1, 2, and maybe 3 for this particular episode. The reason why is I go beyond the episode, and I also talk about things that are in the book that relate to the episode that are not covered, plus things that I have knowledge of as an insider. So that is, how we differ from the other people that are sort of copycatting what we're doing. So on with the show. So we open up with Murtagh taking a walk across this beautiful grassy glen in Scotland. This is the young Murtagh, and he has his little kilt fluttering about his knees. His hair is going to flow in the wind a little bit, and he's going to have a hard conversation, difficult, sad one, with a young, bony child, Jamie. And he is just reiterating to Jamie that the promise that he kept to his mother of taking care of him if anything happened to her, it's still there. He's going to take care of him as if he's his own son. And as we all know, he does that. The reason for this scene is 1, Jamie's mother has died. Number 2 is at the end of this episode, we will see Murtagh and Jamie separating for what seems to be forever, because Murtagh is so hunted that upon sight, the army, the militia, etc., he has a price on his head, so bounty hunters are allowed to take his life. And it is very dangerous and just getting more dangerous by the second for him to remain anywhere near Fraser's Ridge, let alone anywhere near anyone from Scotland. So at the end of this episode, Jamie releases him from that promise. It's a very sad moment, and we see Murtagh walking off in the opposite direction, going off into the forest, and Jamie tells him to make himself hard to find. So that's why we see this at the beginning. Also, one of the things that occurs, which is absolutely beautiful, is the wedding of Bree and Roger. And as we could see in this picture, Jamie and, I should get his face in there, and Claire have aged a bit. They have a little more gray hair. Jamie wears glasses a lot more often. This is important because when you watch this episode, and of course the remainder of the series, the aging process has begun for them. So as I stated, Murtagh is not dead. In season 5, episode 1, he is very much alive. And he and Jocasta are still lovers, in deep, deep-seated love, which unfortunately they must sever, of course, their ways. They must sever their tie, because it is just so, like I said, so important that Murtaugh is able to go and live so that he can continue his work as an underground regulator for the rights of the people. And their conversation, this is basically the last time that they have a sweet, loving session together. And he is basically confirming what she already knows, and what they both know he must do is going their separate ways. And also he's concerned about her being on her own, which he knows she's not exactly on her own, because she does have a household of people who actually do care for her. Even though they are enslaved people, they're not treated like enslaved people, which is, one of the things that would happen back then on occasion. And it would be a way of protecting the people. It's sort of like when people would talk about, people of color or enslaved people back then becoming free or being born free, and they would take on slaves or enslaved people themselves. What would be happening is they would be purchasing their own family members and friends. And that was the only way to get some of them out of slavery or out of that cruelty of it. And it was a disguise. And so he knows that she has those types of people around her. But, of course, it's not him. But she does tell him about Duncan Innes. So Duncan Innes in the books is what would be happening right now with Jocasta. But obviously it's a difference from the television show. So they do end up parting. And Jamie learns some news from the handsome Mr. Gray, that unfortunately, but fortunately, Stephen Bonnet has been located, and his plans can sort of start to take place or mold themselves. So I will go ahead and tell you that something that happens with Stephen Bonnet is he will end up getting his just due. He will end up actually being executed. But before that happens, he will suffer a little bit, but it won't be at the hand of Jamie and Roger, which is what Jamie and Roger have been planning all this time. It will actually happen at the hand of the women of the Ridge. Yes, and I will talk about that in a future episode. So interesting, so awesome, so modern. I love it. And one of the other conversations that they have is about William, aka Willie, who is Jamie's son. Simply, he's making Jamie aware that William is doing well. All things are fine. He's, growing into this responsible, meaningful young man. And, of course, Jamie is happy to hear that. But while they're having this conversation about Stephen Bonnet, unfortunately, Bree, of course, is on top of the world. Everything that she wanted to happen happened that day with her marriage. And all the people are happy and gay. However, when she hears Stephen Bonnet's name, she freezes. It's as if she saw the holy devil itself raise up from the fiery flames of hell. And she staggers sort of back to her mother and her baby Jemmy. And Claire is like, is something wrong? And she tries to play it off because she doesn't want to put a damper on everything. But it's definitely in her mind. Obviously, it's in her psyche, her soul. And she's, I don't know how terrified she is. I think there's a terror, but there's, of course, also an extreme anger. And like I said, eventually the women do get some revenge on Stephen Bonnet. So that's just something to hold on to. So you have Marcelly and Fergus, so in love, such a cute little couple. At this point, they have 2 children, and guess what? A third is on the way. So they're very fertile as far as a couple goes, and of course, very passionate, loving, cute, young. The world is basically at their feet at this point. And of course, you think about where the 2 of them came from and how far they've progressed. It's pretty awesome. this is something you would actually want to see happen with any modern day couple. So there is a meeting of the minds between Jocasta and Roger. And let me just say, by the time that Roger concludes this conversation, he is so angry as a junkyard dog that has been chained up for the last 5 years and is hungry. Because Jocasta, of course, makes him aware, you will not, and I'm paraphrasing everything, you will not get your grubby little hands on my money. I know the reason why you probably married my niece. You don't think Jemmy is your son. You don't accept him, this and that. And all the things that would make Roger really, really, really angry, she says them all. He does not know that this is part of a plan, her coy little way of trying to confirm that he truly is in love with her niece and is not there to take advantage of the Fraser family. So at the end, there's like a smile between her and her caretaker, and, you know, it's confirmed verbally that yes, everything went exactly the way I wanted. This is really a good guy. Roger does not know that at this point, of course. So Claire's surgery is up and running and in full effect. If you watch some of my past videos for season 5, pre-spoilers, you'll see that I actually talk about this particular scene and set. And one of the things she is going to have to do is a tonsillectomy on, I believe his name is Josiah Beardsley or Beardsley. And, you know, she has all of this equipment and things. And what happens on a regular basis when the people come together is they line up and they will come in and receive whatever types of treatments they need. So this is a little bit of an artistic take on this scene. Unfortunately, Governor Tyron has given Jamie notice that the militia must come together because they need to take care of some unrest that has occurred on several occasions. And of course, him and Claire know that, you know, this is sort of a kickoff, a precursor, they think at this point anyway, for a revolution of some type, but that is not what will happen. What will happen is, you know, the unrest that occurs will basically dissipate because the other side basically has no weapons, no food, like they have nothing really. They're they're barely even a ragtag army of people or group. But unfortunately, as we all know, in this far future, not too far, everyone will have to come back together again to fight an actual different battle. But they don't know this at this point. They believe that they're going to take care of this unrest that has occurred on a regular basis. And, of course, they just don't want to say goodbye. So Jamie has called the men and women of the Ridge together. He's getting ready to do that. This is a version of a Scottish-type cross that they will burn. So these are the origins of the fiery cross. It's not what the evil doer garbage Ku Klux Klan has created and twisted something good into something ugly, as they commonly do. But back in the day, in like 1700s and before, it was common to burn a large cross-like structure so that people could see it from all over the place and send word out that everyone needed to come together for a really, really important reason. So they're preparing to do that at this point. So at this point, the cross is lit and the people start coming together, and the men pledge themselves to Jamie, which is very important, and you'll find out why in the future, that it's important that they pledge themselves to Jamie and not to any other organization or person. Like I said, that will come out more in the future as to why he was trying to be sort of specific about that. And this is one of my favorite scenes and photos from this particular episode. I was going to say the series, but hello, we just started the television series. So there's special commendations for Roger, for Fergus, for example, and I believe for a couple others that are super close to Jamie and his family. So here we are in the final scene when Murtaugh and Jamie must part ways.